All right, welcome to week 2 of the Ask Biz Show. I'm back and I've got the camera oriented the right way this time, and I'm recording on my nicer camera so that when the podcast is over, I can post it online in a little bit higher quality. So, what is the Ask Biz Show? Well, the Ask Biz Show is a show where I take some time and answer business questions that are coming in from the outside world. And then, and sometimes I take questions ahead of time, and I answer those questions as best I can. I'm also going to start having guests on the show. So next week, Wes Harris, State Farm agent, is going to be joining us on the show, and he will be answering some of your questions about insurance and how that side of stuff works. So look forward to take questions from Wes Harris next week. So thank you all for joining. Why am I doing this? This is to help you do business better, help me do business better, and let you know that ideas are free, but execution costs money. And so if you have an idea, or if you hear an idea here that you like for your business, you can go ahead and do that. Feel free to, or you can call me and I can help you do that. So let's start with some free ideas. I recently finished reading this book. It's called Customers for Life by Carl Sewell. Let me tell you how I found out about this book, because it's not like on the bestseller list or anything. When I was in Texas a few weeks ago with my wife for our anniversary trip, my Subaru started making a funny noise, which is an unpleasant thing to happen when you are, several hundred miles from home, and so we ducked into a Subaru dealership, and the Subaru dealership quickly examined our car and told us that we could limp home without any charges, which was amazing. And then while we were sitting there, we saw a young woman who's a sales associate there help this older woman through using Uber for the first time. Walked her through that so she could come get a ride to go pick up her car. Which was an extra step of customer service as most people wouldn't usually go through. And so it was really great to see that happen. And so when I got back, I wrote a little blog about a blog that I wrote about it, and I got back and I was doing some research on that company, and I noticed that the Sewell Subaru the owner had also written this book in the 80s. This is one of the best books I've read on customer service since I've been reading books about customer service, and because I saw this culture of customer service, I wondered where it came from, and conveniently enough, they'd written a book about it. And so a couple of things that I really liked about this book is, one, it talks about partnership pay. Now, I'm also a big Dave Ramsey fan, and he talks about paying employees on commission, as many as he can. Partnership pay is a little bit different, but he likes to treat his employees as good as possible. If you're going to have great customer service, you need great employees doing the customer service. And so he recruits and trains employees and pays them well. But he also feels like if a technician who's doing oil changes gets 3 more oil changes done and done correctly in the same time it takes someone else to do 2, that employee should be paid more. And so he will pay employees to up their game. Every employee in every department has a different way that they measure these things, and then they measure them and then pay them more accordingly, which is seems like a great system to run. There's also the 10 commandments of customer service, which I'm going to look at here. So the 10 commandments of customer service are: 1, bring them back alive, which is where you're asking customers what they want and then giving it to them. Systems, not smiles. I think this is a great point. A lot of people think customer service is just people smiling and grinning and saying, yes sir, but no, it's really taking care of things the right way. And a smile is a nice thing to add to that, but the most important thing is doing it right. And then under promise, over deliver. They have a policy there where whatever your quote is for your mechanical work, your bill will never be above that. In fact, even if it's just a penny less, it will always be less than what you were quoted, which is just a fascinating system to think about. Number 4, when the customer asks the question, the answer is always yes. So whatever the customer asks for, the answer is yes, and they try to find it. It's not that the customer is always right, but they're going to do their best to figure out a way to please the customer. This is fire your inspectors and consumer relations department. You don't need a customer relationship team if all of your employees are trained to and empowered to take care of customers. And then if you're not getting any complaints, something is wrong, which is a good sign, good thing to point out. And then 7, measure everything. So if you have something you can measure, even they measure the time it takes when someone comes to pay for their car, how long it takes them to pay and get their car if they're being repaired. So they measure that and find ways to make it quicker, which is great. And then 8, salaries are unfair. So this goes back to that partner pay. They like to pay people based on performance, which I think is a great way to incentivize people to do things. Number 9, your mother was right. Show people respect, be polite. And then number 10 is Japanese them, and that's a reference to the Japanese system of making things more efficient, Kaizen, and use that system to improve the way things work, so it works faster. And I really love this book is short. It's a couple hundred pages. It's 208 pages, but the content is, there's no fluff. It's just the points that are worth making, and then that's it. And so there's no extra enough. So there's literally a chapter that's 2 sentences with a checklist that comes after it. And I love that directness. So it's worth the read. It's called Customers for Life by Carl Sewell. You can get it on Amazon. We had one question come in this week, and that is from a blogger who didn't submit their name, but it says, should I post blogs on the same day each week so my followers will know when to expect one? Or should I alternate days and times? There's a couple different theories on this, but I'm a big fan of posting things consistently on the same day. It's a Pavlov's dog type mentality where you train people to look for something at the same time in the same place. But that being said, I'm not gonna suggest that you just post it once. Post it once on that day that they're expecting it, but then also push it out periodically throughout the week, because the shelf life of a Facebook post or a Twitter post or even an Instagram post is very limited, and it disappears after a very short period of time on people's timelines. And so take the opportunity to post it multiple times, and then even it's worth spending a couple dollars to boost that post out to your fans. Even it's $5 or $6, it can really increase your reach. Facebook's really limited that in the previous months to prevent people to make people pay money. So, yeah, and Brent Fernandez, who's watching in the audience, just said it's like Tuesday is new movie and video game day, gives people something to look forward to. So, and that's a great point, and I hope that your content is good enough that people look forward to it. Some people's content isn't that good, but hopefully yours is. And so one more point about that book before I bring it to an end today, because that seems to be all the questions. The thing about the Customers for Life book is that you're looking at the big picture of things. You're not just looking at one customer interaction. You're not just looking at the sale of one chicken sandwich or one holster or one book or one logo. You're looking at what's the lifetime value of that customer. And Carl Sewell and their dealership, this Cadillac dealership is the one he was talking about specifically, they know that the lifetime value of their customer is $518,000. Now, if the lifetime value of your customer is $518,000, I think you can make a few changes to make sure that that customer is happy. And so I would encourage you to think about what the lifetime value of your customer is and how do you maximize that lifetime value by treating them well and giving them what they need and what they want. So that's the end of this week's show. I encourage you to submit some questions. You can look on my Facebook page or Twitter, and it's bit.ly/AskBizShow, which is bit.ly/AskBizShow, or you can send me an email at Kevin@Adelsberger or use the hashtag on Twitter, AskBizShow, and those are automatically submitted to a spreadsheet for me to look at. So appreciate y'all watching, and we'll be back next week with Wes Harris, State Farm agent. So if you have questions about insurance or the marketing of insurance, Wes will be here, and he'll be a great person to ask for that. Brent Fernandez just submitted another question. How does one determine the lifetime value of a customer? It's a great question, and that's something I'll do some more research on, because it's going to vary based on what for something like a car, it's a lot easier to determine that, you have how much a car is valued, what the lifespan of that car is, and then you can estimate how many times they're going to buy. For something like a holster, which is what Brent deals in, or a logo or website, website may need to be done every 5 or 6 years, and if you've kept a good relationship with them, you could multiply that out. Holster's a little bit different. I'm not as familiar with that world, so it may be a little bit different. I don't know if people need a different holster for each gun, how often they buy new guns, things like that. So there may be some formulas online, but if I find something, I'll let you know, Brent. So that brings an end to this week's show. Brent, I think that means you won question of the show, so I'm gonna mail you Adelsberger marketing sticker. So I hope everybody has a great week. Thanks for watching.